Back in July, we did a video discussing who JJ Gabriel was, an exciting 14-year-old in United's academy, given there was plenty of noise around him. Well, I think it's fair to say we need to do an update video because quite a lot has happened since, with the now 15-year-old JJ Gabriel and the progress he is making. Let me give you a complete summary of what has happened with JJ Gabriel since July and how he's continuing to develop at a rapid pace through United's ranks. So I do think it is time for us to have another conversation about JJ Gabriel. That video that we did during the summer, there's quite a lot that's happened since. When it comes to young players these days, it does seem like they're breaking through so much younger than they did before on a more regular basis. And with JJ Gabriel, after he did that video, what is it, a 9-year-old who was named as Kid Messi, got like 24 million views. Nothing's really been normal around him, and I wouldn't really say his progress through United's ranks is normal either. He very much is an anomaly. That's why we did that video during the summer, and I was a little bit skeptical about doing a video on a 14-year-old. But I think it's fair to say that everybody knows who his name is now, or who he is right now, and what his name is, because, well, his progress has been very, very fast, and it does feel like it's kind of being fast-tracked towards Manchester United's first team. But the first thing to understand, before I run through the chronological, like, how his season has gone so far, is it very much nearly didn't go at Manchester United, because he very nearly left United. This is from The Athletic, from Laurie Whitwell from this morning, which we already knew, but this is just the latest retelling of this story. At the start of the summer, JJ Gabriel and his family informed United they were planning to move on and thanked people for all they had done at the club. You can see in green there what happened. Matt Hargreaves stood in. Not really sure why he's standing. He's director of negotiations. But anyway, Jason Wilcox stood in. And they sat JJ Gabriel and his family down, had a conversation, and they changed their minds. They stayed at Manchester United because he decided that it was the right place for him at this stage in his young career and the pathways that are ahead of him. Also invited his dad and his family to the director's box against Arsenal. But that's what happened in the summer. We nearly lost JJ Gabriel because Barcelona were sniffing around him, other clubs too. But United have fast-tracked him and have needed to because of other clubs lurking. That's him meeting Amrim. But his season with the under-18s is where he's been absolutely shining. Of course, that's where he's playing his football right now. And he's building up a really good relationship with Darren Fletcher. He scored 2 hat-tricks for the under-18s. That there on the 30th of August was against Derby. And that there was last month against Liverpool. Pulled out the Isaac celebration, considering that bloke's not celebrating any goals. Anyway, they won 7-0. And Gabriel scored his second hat-trick of the season. And I think he's now got 10 goals in 11 games for the under-18s. And he is thriving. Darren Fletcher's doing really well. Got an incredibly talented set of players. But this is Darren Fletcher's first role. And it's fair to say that he's helping him. He's helping him develop. And 10 goals in 11 games says that. Now, moving forward into the first team. Now, in October, JJ Gabriel actually trained with Manchester United's first team for the first time. No pictures were released at that, but he released it on Instagram himself. That was a first team involvement. Of course, training only. And then again, in November, he trained with the first team. And Manchester United decided at this point to release pictures, which I think is reflective of how United are. Like previously, they might have just kept it all behind closed doors, but they're dropping a picture, and they're also I think they included, The Athletic said this, they included sort of a photo of him as part of the promo for like a Black Friday kit sale. So they're approaching it differently. That's what I mean. It doesn't really feel normal for a 15-year-old to have this sort of attention at this age, but I don't think JJ Gabriel's path is normal. That's him meeting Fergie. He was invited back into the director's box for the West Ham game. And then you got this photo, which is, I suppose, the talking point of this week. And that photo is JJ Gabriel celebrating at Old Trafford because he has just become United's youngest ever scorer in the FA Youth Cup. And I believe he was already United's youngest ever player in the FA Youth Cup going into it. And then he became United's youngest ever scorer. Great goal in front of the Stretford end. Really nice. Opened his body, right foot, struck it. Lovely side foot finish into the corner. 1-0 win. The difference maker in the FA Youth Cup, and he has been the difference maker for the under-18s multiple times this season. So far, we've seen JJ Gabriel be in and around the first team environment. We've seen him thriving with the under-18s, scoring 1 hat-trick, 2 hat-tricks, scoring 10 in 11 games, and building a relationship with Darren Fletcher. We've now seen him train with the first team, meet Fergie, play at Old Trafford for the first time, score his first goal at Old Trafford, and take the spotlight for the right reasons. And this is what I mean. Like, none of this is particularly normal for a 15-year-old. And I think parallels with Max Dowman. Max Dowman, of course, who's since made his Arsenal debut. Now, the big thing, of course, is it's far easier for a youngster to be making his debut in this Arsenal team environment right now, considering they've been challenging for the title for a few years. It's a far more established and secure environment. There's pressures, of course, there are pressures with any Premier League team, but it's a safer environment to come through in. But JJ Gabriel, United had to step in the summer, because had we not stepped in and sat down and Jason Wilcox had that emergency meeting and spoke to his parents and spoke about the pathways and spoke about working underneath Stephen Torpey, who is our new academy director, then JJ Gabriel probably would have left the club in the summer. May already be a Barcelona player. Nobody really knows. But it's fair to say that for a lad who's already signed the Nike deal, for a lad who's only just 15, he's not even in his GCSE year, this sort of thing shouldn't really be happening. But it is. And it does feel like he's on a fast track to Manchester United's first team. Now, in terms of what could happen this season, hypothetically, let's say we were going to do another video in another 4 or 5 months' time. What conversations could we be having then? Well, I don't believe he's eligible because of his age. Is it just because of his age or because he wasn't put down on the list? I don't know. But I don't think he's eligible to play in the Premier League this season. I don't think United would go there anyway. However, I believe he is eligible if United wanted to play in the FA Cup. So there, you could conceivably see JJ Gabriel involved in a squad, in a matchday squad, or even some more first-team training ahead of our game against Brighton on the 10th of January. Or maybe past that, depending on whether we beat Brighton and who we draw in the next round. Who knows? But it really is just, it's record-breaking. He's setting the buzz. It's the fairest way to describe it. And he's being fast-tracked towards the first team, because if United didn't do that, then he'd already be playing for someone else. So it's about balancing the expectations that attention would give a 15-year-old and how good that player already is and how much you want to keep him compared to what other clubs might be willing to do. And it's a delicate balancing act. And this is this is down to Stephen Torpey and Jason Wilcox and how United do it behind the scenes. But it's fair to say that since we had that conversation in the summer 4 months ago, he's rapidly accelerating through United's academy ranks, nailing it with the under-18s. It's going to be excited to still watch him play this season. And who knows what will happen next. But he's now United's youngest ever goal scorer in the FA Youth Cup at Old Trafford. He's already trained with the first team. So next up for him in terms of developments, still playing with the under-18s, maybe being involved in the United matchday squad, maybe even making a debut in the FA Cup. That's probably what we'll see for the rest of the season. But that's everything summarised and why there really is so much noise around him. Because he is an anomaly.